Hello everybody. Welcome to another gentle magazine page turning video. With other visual triggers and sounds. I had talked about doing one of these every month. A lot of people, or many of you, enjoy them, and I'm still considering that. I am still working on trying to get an updated camera. As I've learned actually today, that the battery on this camera is losing its charge quicker than normal. So if this video goes a little bit quicker than normal, that's the reason. So I truly appreciate the comments about my equipment and the support. But I do still want to upgrade for the sake of the videos that I can do and myself, and to make them better for you. It makes me happier and more content at this point. I've been making them like this for an awful long time, so it is time to upgrade, and hopefully I can find a way to do that. So let's move on to, we're going to do Vogue today, and again I'm going to try and get through this before my camera dies, so I'm not quite sure how these videos end up taking so long. I started early this morning when it was nice and quiet, and now it's early afternoon, and this is my third or fourth attempt, which you've heard before. The refrigerator is back on, but hopefully that'll turn off soon. So we're going to get started on going through Vogue. You will see some things in here that show that I have already been through this magazine, but we'll just deal quietly with those. So just sit back and relax, or sleep, or doze, whatever you'd like to do. And as we always do, we will start by tracing the letters of the name of the magazine, and of course the G is behind her face, and the U, and the E, Vogue. I know the view also with the camera that I have, because this is the only setup that I can do with a magazine video with this particular camera, so we'll do the best we can with a view, and those of you that have seen them before are aware of that. So let's open up the magazine. The first pages are always the nicest for sound because they are thicker. This first page is, so I'm going to show you a trifold page. Which I'm actually not going to really open up all the way. I know you can see a bit of this over here. So we are going to keep it just a 2-page. So I have decided that, let me move this over for a little bit of a better view for you. In going through this magazine, and I don't buy these magazines, I usually get them from work. I have purchased maybe 1 or 2 for these videos, but most of them I bring home from work because I don't purchase fashion magazines. This particular ad, it's a Dior ad. I don't know if you can see the Dior name down here. It might be cut off to your view. But I don't really like this ad because I feel like, and this might just be my age and the fact that I have children, but I feel like these girls look too young. That's just my opinion. So we are going to use some tools today with this magazine video. For the first time, last time, I did use brushes and some other things, and I had never done that before, and they got a good response. So I won't do them for every video, but I figure since this is only my second video with the brushes and markers, etc., that I would do another one. I've only done the other one that I told you about, and again, it did get a good response, so for this one, I will continue with that theme and trace her ear. Just massage her ear with a brush, kind of like massaging her ear in real life with a brush, and going down her nose, around her eye, and we can trace her jawline and down her neck, around. This is a pretty skirt, very different. I think you can see that right here. Here we have an ad for Estee Lauder. I know you can see some of the products over here, but down here it does say Estee Lauder, but I believe that's cut off from your view, so. as you can see, I did circle the name Prada in one of my previous attempts to the video. I think I've also kind of run out of my voice after all these attempts. I can hear the crackliness of it a little bit. I'm not quite liking this ad either. The Prada ad. Only because, again, I believe that the model looks a bit too young, but I don't know. If she's at least 18, I guess that's, I don't know. I'll just stay away from that subject. I've already given my opinion on that. So I'm gonna just trace and trace just these vertical kind of like curtain pleats in the background, just up and down, very softly. Down, down that one, all the way down, and all the way down, and just relax. Just watch the brush as it goes over the page, and don't think of anything except for what's happening right here and right now. We always have plenty of time to worry or think about our everyday lives, so just relax. Relax. This is a Gucci ad. You can tell my pen is not coming out very well on that color, but that's okay. We'll use it again in a future page. So we have Gucci, the G, and the U, and C, and C, and I. Gucci. And they're advertising this bag. It's a very busy looking bag, but I kind of like it. I don't have any use for it in my life, but I can't say that I dislike it. It's, again, very busy. It's red, white, and blue. But, yeah, I kind of like it. It's different. And I will probably never ever own a bag like that. Unless I was to marry a millionaire or a billionaire, which I don't foresee that happening. That was just a joke. Even if I was rich, I don't think I would want to spend that much money on a pocketbook. I think I would still just live fairly simply. Have a nice house a nice homey house on the ocean, one in the mountains. Doesn't have to be huge. I prefer homey anyways. So here, as you see, I'm tracing her face for this Lancome ad. You can see over here that it says Lancome. I don't know if you can see that full view. Right over here. So just tracing her beautiful face down her neck, and her shoulders, and down her arm, and down this arm. I like the color of her hair. Can go down her nose, around her eyes, it's a Dolce & Gabbana ad. Ralph Lauren, and you can see I've already been on this page prior to. Tiffany and Company. Again, I don't know if you can, I think this is probably cut off to you, but this is a Tiffany and Company ad. You can probably tell by the color of the background, which we can trace just around the outline of this picture. And we can take this small brush and trace the outside line of her arm, just like that. And we can trace down her neck, down the back of her neck, and also down this arm right here, and back up. They're advertising this bracelet right here, which I think you can see right over here. Even though it has the diamond accents and whatnot, it's still kind of a understated bracelet in a way. I think you could wear that dressed up or dressed down. But again, it is Tiffany, so I don't think I'd want to know the price. I bought myself one Tiffany bracelet about 10 years ago. It was very simple. Just a silver, very thin little bangle with a hook. A little hook that goes into the hoop at the end. And it had a very small still have it. Kind of treated myself, but even just for that basic, very basic bracelet, it was not cheap. It was under $200, but I don't like their gaudy jewelry, but I really do like that bracelet. And again, I still have it, and it's probably about 14 years old. So I don't know if you can actually see that, but I just went around the name Fendi right there, which is what this ad is. I do like these little bags. They're actually very cute. I don't know if these girls are supposed to be young because of the style of bag, but again, I do think those bags are very cute. Now, when I was going through this magazine earlier, trying to finish the video, I was trying to decide if this was Lauren Hutton, which I believe it is, who I really like, and she still looks very, very good. Very classy woman, very classy looking. Just a little light. Tapping while it's nice and quiet. Just very quiet. And I am going to take this, and even though I've already gone over it, I'm going to go around it again. Now, this says, I've actually never heard of this brand, Bottega and Veneta or Veneta. I'm not quite sure. If anybody knows, feel free to let me know. But apparently it's another brand of handbag. And this actually looks pretty nice. I like that lamp. And I don't usually like really stark modern lines for home decor, but I do like that lamp. I also like this dress. This is Michael Kors, and of course they're advertising this bag, which is, I actually really like this bag. When I was younger, bags like this were kind of in style. The ones that you just pull open and they had the wood at the top. A lot of things are coming back. I should have just kept everything. I could have given them to my daughter. She'd probably wear, well, she takes my clothes now. clothes, but she'd probably like a lot of the clothes that I had back when I was young, because they all seem to be coming back in style. I'm going to trace. I don't like the sound of that, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to trace just the outline of this picture. And there's your Michael Kors bag, which I actually do like that. It's not overly functional for me. I tend to carry a large bag because I just carry a lot of stuff. When I go to work, my bag is full of waters and snacks and my other little purse that I put inside my big purse or my big bag. I'm gonna take a drink of water because I feel like I'm going to cough. Here we have Clinique. And I think what I'll do here is just count these bottles. I'll start over here. You might not be able to see all the way over to the very end, but I think you can. But I'll start over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the crease here we have 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And this is full coverage with none of the weight. It is 2-in-1 beyond perfecting foundation and concealer. I actually used to work for this company before I got into the medical field. I still like many of their products. And we have a Cartier watch right here. Watches kind of went out of style for a while, but they're coming back in style now, and I actually really like this. Probably comes in, and this is just a guess, I don't know this for sure, but you'll probably get it with different color bands, but this one is kind of a purple color, and I like the fact that it has the Roman numerals. It's really pretty. But again, just to clarify, as I did in some of my messages to people, they are hardwired into my ceiling, so I have no idea what that is. It's very strange. I have never ever heard that before. Oh, I think I know what that is. That's my phone. I'm going to walk away for 1 minute. Hold on and bear with me. I apologize for that, and I apologize for saying that too close to the microphone. But I did take the phone off the hook earlier so it wouldn't ring while I was doing these videos, and I totally forgot, so it was just losing its battery. How ironic is that, right? So I just put it back on its cradle. I still am one of those ones that has a home phone and not just a cell phone. I keep my home phone for emergency purposes. Mainly. I don't really talk to many people on my home phone. Only a couple of family members, generally, once in a while, but again, it's kept just for emergency purposes. I'm just tracing this picture. I love horses. I grew up with them. I grew up out west. I live in the Northeast now, but I did grow up out west and rode horses a lot. And I also have family in Vermont, and I just love the country. And this horse doesn't look very happy. His ears are back a little bit, but hopefully they took good care of him during the sad. And that's Versace. So again, I want to thank those who showed concern for my smoke detectors. I actually had 2 go out. They weren't always the same detector. One lost its battery for a video or 2, and then I replaced it, and shortly after that, another one went out. And then I had one out in my daughter's room upstairs. They all kind of went at the same time. Well, consecutively, one right after the other. But again, rest assured, thank you for your concern. I did replace all the batteries. And they are hardwired into my ceiling, so the batteries are back up in case the electricity was to ever go out. They would still work. So even without the battery, as long as the electricity is on, they do indeed work. And I have many of them in my house. That and the carbon monoxide detectors. But I did have quite a few people mention that sound and the continuation of the sound. This is a Coach bag, and I find this very interesting with the way they have the cutout flowers in leather, it looks like, attached to the actual purse. this Coach bag as well. I like that it has this little southwestern feel to it. And it has these tassels coming down off of them, and the weaving through here, and this kind of southwest embellishment for the opening. It's very cute. And just going through a couple pages here. And I'm going to try to crease the magazine a little bit more, because these thick magazines with this setup are very hard to keep standing when you get through a lot of the pages. They become uneven, of course, because you have so much of the weight over here. So we have just a little more tracing. The outside and the inside of her arm and hand, down this arm, and her fingers, her necklace, and then just a little circular motions for some sound. Just kind of like a little massage. Excuse my arm when I have to move the pages over. It's Dior. Looks like she has a wedding dress. Just circle it. It's a cute blouse. I don't know if you can see that, but or shirt, however you want to call it. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. It's just a little bit off. And we have Maybelline's Colossal Big Shot Mascara. I actually like the Maybelline mascaras think that might be what I have at this moment. Not that one, but the Maybelline mascara. And again, trying to crease a little bit and keep the magazine semi. In place here. I'm going to take a big brush and we're gonna just go over her face with this big brush or bigger brush and just give her a little massage on the forehead, almost like we're putting foundation or powder on her. And we'll go down the side of her face, around her cheek, and down by her chin, on her other cheek, and down her chin, back up, down her nose, just like that. You can even go back down the side and down her neck like that. Down by her chin from the other direction. Down her nose one more time. And why don't we take this and we'll go right over her eyelid, just like we're putting this eyeshadow on her, like that. Very nice. We'll see what kind of a job I can do with my left hand. And again, just like we're putting this eyeshadow right on her eye. There we go. And over her eyebrow. And this one as well. So we're going to have to do some page turning here. Chanel number 5. And this is not meant to technically write on the page. pages just for pointing and sounds. So you have Chanel number 5, Paris. And you have the lovely perfume bottle. Number 5, Chanel, Paris. This actually says the new number 5. I actually read, or actually I think it was a video that I saw recently of how many ads they actually have in these magazines as opposed to actual content. So what they did was they ripped out the pages of different magazines. They ripped out all the ads and showed you what was left of the magazine after the ads were taken out. Needless to say, there was not much left. The yogi teas, I really like those. I have some of them here in my house. And again, some page flipping before my camera decides to die on me. Or even my microphone, who knows, after. So many attempts, I don't know what's left on that either, because I have a memory card in it. So let's just do some flipping. Just quiet and relaxing, flipping. Just relax. That's the blouse I mentioned before that I like, or you could call it a shirt, I guess, because it's not technically buttoned up, but so again, I am just page flipping here to ensure that we don't run out of battery life. Oh, some nice page sounds. Wow, look at that rooster. So, as far as roosters go, that's a pretty beautiful rooster. Gonna move that a little bit. This kind of reminds me of a 70s ad with the clothes. I did have a request to do more of a page folding video. Do more page folding in the magazine. I just want people to know that I have put in requests that I do have them. And I will do the best I can. If I feel like some of them might be better off waiting for better camera angles, equipment, then I will do that. But again, I thank you for any requests, and I want you to know that I do definitely have them, and will do my very best to honor them. She has all this jewelry just kind of hanging in her hair. Interesting. It says terms of adornment. I definitely think I'm losing my voice after talking through 4 videos right now. So I apologize for any raspiness, squeakiness. When I hear it coming on, I try to go into a whisper. Coming towards the end of this magazine. And fold a page on this side. Some little crinkly folding sounds. Hopefully you can see that. And I'll fold this side as well for you. Give that a little crease. Although this page right here, these are the pages that I kind of like. The ones that show several products. It's getting harder for me to straighten out this magazine. So here we have a Stella McCartney trench coat. Number 11 is this the ring. My magazine is starting to tilt. And the ring is Jennifer Fisher. And it is $325. I want to know how much these pillows are. It actually doesn't say. So we have a few different products here. I really like this watch. And quickly, I am going to take a look that it is only $850 right here. Now, I don't know about you, but that does not look like an $850 watch. And even if it did, I would not want an $850 watch. I'd much rather spend my money on something else. So finishing up here, I'm just going to flip through the last of these pages. I think I'm at the end right now. Move over just a little bit. This is a Louis Vuitton iPhone case. I actually kind of like that. It's kind of cute. The little closure and how it opens. Has kind of a leather look here. Yeah, it's kind of cute. A little bit of light tapping. On these last pages because they are the thicker pages and they make just a